If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I.
No. That's not true. That's impossible! No! No! During the actual production of that scene, and not just the elaborate Simpsons reference, in order to keep the massive plot twist from leaking, George Lucas had David Prowse, the actor playing Darth Vader on screen, read the line, "You don't know the truth. Obi-Wan killed your father." James Earl Jones would later dub in the real thing. As all creative works do, The Empire Strikes Back went through many changes and almost turned out very differently. First draft of Empire was written by science fiction author Leigh Brackett, and it plays very differently from the final thing. For example, the iconic Battle of Hoth is preempted by another battle with Wampas, you know, the snow creature thing that attacks Luke. Yoda is called Minch, and he summons Obi-Wan by using Force Call. Literally, he says, "By the Force, I call you," and then he shows up. Darth Vader has a castle, which is located on Ton Muon, a city planet similar to Coruscant. Also, he has pet gargoyles, because duh. Also, the father reveal doesn't happen. But the rest is still pretty much Empire, but Empire was almost not the sequel we were looking for. You may have heard of a Splinter of the Mind's Eye, a backup sequel in case A New Hope didn't perform too well financially. The script is very different from Empire and takes place almost entirely on the Dagobah-like planet of Mimban, a mining outpost for the Empire. The script featured a reduced cast, meaning no Han or Chewie, which sucks, but it would have climaxed with a lightsaber duel between Vader and Leia, which is awesome. Lucas went forward with Empire, and Alan Dean Foster's Mind's Eye was published in '78 as the first novel in the expanded universe, now Star Wars Legends, and later as a graphic novel. Mind's Eye sounds like it would have been a totally good Star Wars sequel, but Lucas had some other ideas in mind that weren't so normal sounding. I'll preface this with the fact that these are comments that Lucas made in an interview, not plans for movies that were going to happen. In an interview with Jim Steranko in Prevue magazine in 1980, George Lucas said that he had some ideas to make a Star Wars sequel featuring just robots with no humans. Which at first sounds terrible, but it actually might be pretty interesting to gain some insight on the slave-like treatment these basically sentient droids receive for some reason. The robot dream ended up actually kinda happening with 1985's Droids, an animated TV comedy series about R2-D2 and C-3PO's wacky adventures. I'm in trouble again. Trouble again. In that same interview, Lucas expressed interest in making a Wookiee-only movie, which also sort of happened, but before the interview did, with the Star Wars Holiday Special. A horrific piece of film and television history that I really hope you haven't been a part of. It's presented from the perspective of Chewbacca's family, entirely in their native tongue, or roar, with no subtitles. I won't delve into it, it's terrible, please don't watch it. It's hard to imagine the original trilogy without Harrison Ford playing Han Solo, but we might have been saying the same thing about Kurt Russell, who almost landed the role. It was also offered to Christopher Walken, and Al Pacino, and Sylvester Stallone, and Nick Nolte, which would have been different. More recently is the greatest worst thing, or possibly best thing, ever, the Star Wars animated sitcom from Robot Chicken called Star Wars Detours.
Yo dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could join it or something.
Written by Seth Green, there are apparently 30-ish episodes in existence that have never aired as it was cancelled when Disney acquired Lucasfilm. The show features some pretty big names, from Billy D. Williams to Felicia Day to Zachary Levi to Seth MacFarlane to Weird Al Yankovic, and I can't tell if I think it's funny or not. The Disney acquisition is where we lost a lot of Star Wars projects, for better or for worse. Many of these, which upset a lot of people, including myself, were great-looking video games, like Star Wars 1313 and First Assault. There are too many canceled Star Wars video games to talk about in this video, so I'll just talk about a couple of my favorite. The planned 2008 Battlefront 3 looked amazing. It was an obvious extension of its excellent two predecessors, including everything from ground to space combat in one map, to flyable hero ships, to frickin' trench runs, and they canceled it. Hopefully the 2015 Resurrection and its potential sequels will add back in some of those awesome features. 2011 saw the cancellation of a Darth Maul game, which kind of looked like the Arkham series, but with the only cool part of the prequel trilogy. Another victim of the Disney acquisition was a gritty live-action TV show called Star Wars Underworld. The show was to feature young Han Solo and Lando Calrissian and was written by new Battlestar Galactica, aka Best Show Ever showrunner Ronald D. Moore. Apparently there are 50 finished scripts ready to shoot for this one, so fingers crossed Disney picks it up. What all of these exemplify is what I'm calling the Star Wars effect. Basically, any content that is Star Wars related has its quality amplified in either direction. For example, if the prequel trilogy wasn't about Star Wars and featured different characters but nonetheless the same plot and dullness, no one would have really given it much thought past maybe the opening weekend. I certainly wouldn't have watched it dozens of times, but I did because it's Star Wars. Most people hate the prequel trilogies much more intensely than they do, say, John Carter or Chappie.
Chappie, if you want to be in the gang, you have to be cool like Daddy. Look how Daddy walks. Look how cool he is. You need to keep a gangster. Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront is fun, but it's especially fun because it's Star Wars. Take that away, and it's not bad, but it does lack that extra bit of intense excitement. Would I be interested in a gritty Ronald D. Moore sci-fi show? Yeah, sure. But add Star Wars and I'm pumped. But let's rewind to 1979. Post-New Hope, pre-Empire, Star Wars was everywhere. The holiday special had just aired on TV and to decent reviews somehow, so CBS ordered a pilot for a sitcom based on the cantina scene from A New Hope, called Starstruck, and it's amazing.
Have you seen our ship? Fastest thing between here and anywhere. Why, we could leave right now.
What do you guys think? Is the Star Wars effect a thing? And what are your favorite and least favorite canceled Star Wars projects? Let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna be off for Christmas, so I'll see you in the new year. In the meantime, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, Life Day, Yule celebration, or whatever else. And if you want to get me a Christmas gift, you can check out my Patreon campaign and give me the gift of your love, which I guess is money. Ugh. Anyways, if you haven't already, be sure to click right on my face to subscribe, or at least think about it.